Hey everyone! So today we're diving into this really cool open source project that's trying to tackle a massive problem. How do you bring order to the Wild West of online collaboration? It's all about building trust when literally anyone, anywhere can jump in and contribute.
All right, let's just get right into it with a question that honestly keeps a lot of project managers up at night. Picture this. You've got a project with 1,000 contributors. 1,000. Who's actually in charge? Who gets to make the final call?
Yeah, exactly. It's a huge problem. I mean, how do you trust who has permission to do what? How do you even recognize the people doing the real, valuable work? And how on earth do you make fair decisions when you're dealing with that kind of scale? It just gets messy. And when things get messy, projects grind to a halt, or worse, just fall apart. So this brings us to the solution. It's laid out in a GitHub repo called Badge Authority. And what they're proposing is a really clean, automated way to handle all this complexity. Okay, so this quote from the project itself is super important. They call it the Identity, Validation, and Recognition Engine. Notice that word engine. It's not just a simple tool. And those three pillars, identity, validation, and recognition, are everything. That last one, recognition, that's the part that so many systems forget about. And that's what makes this whole idea so darn powerful.
So what does all that mean in plain English? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like a digital passport, but for your work. Every badge is like a stamp in that passport. It proves who you are, it shows what you've accomplished, and it clarifies what you have permission to do. And the best part? It's all out in the open, completely verifiable.
Okay, so how does this thing actually work under the hood? It all comes down to 5 main types of badges. Think of them as the 5 building blocks of trust for this entire system. Let's walk through each one. First up, we've got governance badges. You can think of these as the heavy hitters. If you hold one of these, you have real power. You get to vote on proposals, you help steer the ship, and you basically get to write the rules for the whole community.
Next on the list are authority badges. I love this one. They're basically digital keycards. They don't give you the big picture voting power of a governance badge, but they unlock specific doors. Things like getting permission to merge code, or being a forum moderator, or accessing secure files. Super specific, super important.
Then we've got document execution badges. Now these are crucial for anything that needs to be made official. They're like a secure digital sign on the dotted line. So when you're dealing with contracts, funding agreements, or formal proposals, this badge creates that binding, verifiable record that proves it's a done deal.
All right, next are the ledger event badges. These are the project's official historians. Seriously, every single time something important happens, a vote passes, a contract gets signed, a ledger event badge is created. It's an unchangeable public log of that action. It's basically the project's permanent history book for everyone to see.
And last but definitely not least, we have the contributor verification badges. This is the bedrock of the whole system. Think of it like that little blue check mark you see on social media. It's proof of your identity. It confirms you are who you say you are, and it ties all of your work directly back to you.
Okay, so all this theory is cool, but let's see how it works in the real world. We're going to look at a concrete example straight from the project's own source code, how they manage grants. And this is a perfect example because handling money is always a complex, high-stakes process. And here we get a little peek under the hood. Just look at those file names on the screen. You've got grant badges JSON, grant scoring engine JSON. This shows you it's not just a bunch of fancy ideas. It's a real system built with actual code. The rules of how the community operates are literally written into these files. When people talk about governance as code, this is what they mean. This is it in practice.
So what you get is a process that's just incredibly clean, transparent, and efficient. Every single step from applying to getting the funds is kicked off and validated by a specific badge. It completely gets rid of all the guesswork, the potential for human error, or even bias. It's just the system working as designed.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. Why does a system like this really matter? Why should we care about it beyond just this one specific project? Well, the implications are kind of huge. This could really change the future of how we work and collaborate online.
Because what we're talking about is a fundamental shift. Forget the old static resume that just lists your past jobs. Instead, imagine having this dynamic, verifiable reputation backpack that you carry with you everywhere you go online. Every piece of code you write, every project you help lead, every good decision you make, it all goes into the backpack. It creates this rich, provable history of what you can actually do. Your work literally speaks for itself. And it all creates this amazing feedback loop. Look at these 4 points. The automation is what makes radical transparency possible because everything is logged. That transparency, in turn, builds a solid foundation of trust. And once you have that trust, well, that's when you can build a true meritocracy, a system where it's your actual contributions and your best ideas that get you ahead, not, office politics or who you play golf with.
So when you boil it all down, badge authority isn't just a handy tool for one little project. It's a blueprint. It's a foundational piece of the puzzle for building the fair, merit-based, and truly collaborative online communities of the future.
And that really leaves us with one big question to chew on. Just think about it for a second. If your reputation, your skills, everything you've ever built was perfectly and instantly verifiable, what would you build? What new doors would that open up for you?